another one bites the dust. Apple TV Plus just pulled one of the strangest moves in television history with how they handled canceling the show Mythic Quest. Mythic Quest is a workplace sitcom that follows the trials and tribulations of the employees of a game development studio, created by Rob McElhenney, Charlie Day, and Megan Gantz. I initially came to the show because I'm a huge fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a show that shares two of the same head writers in Rob and Charlie, with Megan working in various roles as well. What I got with Mythic Quest is a show that shares some of the same outrageous and brazen comedy stylings, but features characters you can legitimately fall in love with. Rather than just watching how these monsters will inevitably create chaos in the lives of everyone they cross paths with, like in Sunny, the relationships in Mythic Quest are more nuanced and genuinely emotional, especially the push and pull between best frenemies, Ian Grimm and Poppy Lee. As the creative leads of the studio, it's their vision that everybody else is there to serve, and so naturally the main source of the drama in the show revolves around whether or not they can work together. Ian is an egomaniac, but his passion for the art form and ambitious attitude are infectious, making him the perfect collaborator for Poppy, an engineer who lacks Ian's confidence and self esteem, but more than makes up for it with her ability to code and actually build the game. Throughout the course of the show, their relationship is constantly shifting, from mentor mentee to colleagues to business partners to best friends and even possible love interests. They have a very natural chemistry that gives their particular flavor of the will they, won't they sitcom trope much appreciated verisimilitude. I can both believe they care for each other deeply and might end up killing each other, just like real life. There are other great characters and dynamics in this show, but I don't intend for this to be a complete review of my thoughts on the series, so I won't get into them here. This video is more just meant to be a little rant on how Apple TV Plus and the filmmakers behind this show just royally fucked up its ending, and I can't get into that without at least establishing its two leads. Season 4 put a new kind of spotlight on their friendship as the main arc revolved around Poppy pursuing a romantic relationship with an artist named Storm, and how this affects her relationship with Ian both personally and professionally. When she does have time for Ian, the two create an expansion for Mythic Quest that is regarded by all that play it as a masterpiece, possibly the magnum opus of their careers as collaborators. But when Poppy eventually finds out she's pregnant, she contemplates starting completely fresh elsewhere and leaving MQ behind her. Throughout the season, Ian struggles to cope with Poppy slipping further and further away, until he realizes that change is a part of life, as difficult as it may be, and he has to accept and even encourage and facilitate Poppy's decision to go. And that's when we get the final scene of the series. It's a classic, I can't believe they're just leaving each other like this. Oh wait, she's come running back and they're gonna live happily ever after kind of scene. You know what I'm talking about, rom-com 101 type shit. Poppy returns home to the Mythic Quest office to find Ian continuing to work without her, miserable as that makes him. After a sweet back and forth where they reconcile their differences, comes the shocking last moment. The two embrace in a hug, pulling away briefly before coming back together for a kiss. The passion subsides for a beat as they pull back and look each other directly in the eyes, contemplating what this point of no return will mean for the two going forward. Credits. Cue talking heads burning down the house. When season 4 concluded, I had mixed feelings about the move towards making Poppy and Ian a couple. This was always a possibility, and the season did move in that direction more than ever before. But actually seeing the two kiss was strange. It's kind of like Ron Swanson and Leslie Knope sharing a smooch, or Jack Donaghy and Liz Lemon. It definitely opens up new writing possibilities for the two leads. And even if it wasn't a relationship I was shipping, as the kids say, I was more than willing to give this evolution the benefit of the doubt, and wanted to see how they would handle it in the following season. 2 weeks later, Apple TV Plus would announce its cancellation, much to the chagrin of the fans, myself included. So many plot threads and character arcs were left largely unresolved, with major shifts in the last episode leaving any feeling of resolution or finality absolutely obliterated. But there was a silver lining in the cancellation announcement. At least it appeared to be on the surface. The creative team was going to be given a chance to make a new series finale, a true ending to the characters we have come to know and love over the years. How are they going to do this? A new episode? Possibly a movie or extended one-off special? No. They decided to go with re-editing the last episode, deleting the previous version, and gaslighting the audience into believing this is what aired at the end of season 4. To add insult to injury, they acted as though this was going to be a satisfying conclusion to the show, when really all they did was change the scene at the very end when Poppy and Ian kiss, and instead just have them hugging and going back to work as usual. Credits. Cue Starship's Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. That's fucking it. Not only is this not a good ending to the season, based on the tension that's been developing between the two of them, but as an ending to the show overall, it seems like they're just back exactly where they started. They didn't need to kiss. Like I said before, that's not something I was hoping for or wanted to see. But even if the scene has no release of sexual tension, it still needs more of a release to the emotional tension to serve as the final moment. Why not have Poppy and Ian sit down and play their latest gaming creation together, while having some banter back and forth? They recognize that what they've created together is truly amazing, and the culmination of both of their lives' work, everything they've ever hoped to achieve, and they share a smile. After a beat, Poppy throws out an idea for a game that could be an interesting next project, and Ian supports it without hesitation, adding a tiny note before quickly apologizing. But Poppy reassures him that she wants his notes, and we know that they're going to continue to grow together. Just give me something that leaves me feeling more about their future as a team than a fucking hug. What I have to imagine happened was both versions we got were shot, and the filmmakers decided the more interesting way to go with the characters was to have them kiss. Then when they were canceled, they broke out the platonic Ian and Poppy cut because they had the footage and they didn't want the end of the series to be a cliffhanger. This turned out to be a complete failure because virtually every other character that isn't Poppy and Ian didn't have anything adjusted to their stories to give them a conclusion, and Poppy and Ian's story was re-edited for the worse. I'd rather have a cliffhanger that I never get to see the next chapter of than have this kind of milquetoast ending. Not only that, but what I would call the better ending is now lost media. Sure, it can still be found on the same site you're watching this video on, but the streaming service on which the show lives has deleted it from its official archive. I think they should have at least added it under an extras tab, similar to how Netflix has the original versions of the Arrested Development Season 4 episodes available to view, albeit slightly hidden. It's important to maintain preservation of art, and the choice to change a finale after the fact should only be allowed if the audience can easily access the original version. I think a good compromise could have been a suggestion I saw floating around the internet. An interactive choose your ending segment at the end of the final episode that lets the audience view either ending. A video game like meta final moment for the show. That would have been better than what we got. I think this situation has proven that it's better to leave things be once they've made it to the audience. Rather than reflecting on a show that I really enjoyed, the strange editing and replacement of the ending will no doubt be the first thing I think of when Mythic Quest comes up in the future. Next time, just leave it the fuck alone. I would have given the original episode a Brad, but this new version of the Mythic Quest finale gets a Dana. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I'm talking to you specifically. Thank you.